A pleasant good morning to the Honorable John Brisena, Prime Minister of Belize, his ministers and ministers of state, to the Honorable Tracy Panton, Leader of the Opposition, and members on her side of the House, and to you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members, let us now pray. Almighty and eternal God, who through Jesus Christ has revealed your glory to all nations, please protect and preserve Belize, our beloved country. God of might, wisdom, and justice, please assist our Belizean government and people with your Holy Spirit of counsel and fortitude. Let the light of your divine wisdom direct their plans and endeavors, so that with your help we may attain our just objective. With your guidance, may all our endeavors tend to peace, social justice, liberty, national happiness, and the increase of industry, sobriety, and useful knowledge. We pray, O God of mercy, for all of us, that we may be blessed in the knowledge and sanctified in the observance of your most holy law, that we may be preserved in union and in that peace which the world itself cannot give. And after enjoying the blessings of this life, please admit us, dear Lord, to that eternal reward that you have prepared for those who love you. Amen.
Announcement by the Speaker.
Honorable members, good morning. Due to some technical difficulties in the audio this morning, we are starting late today, but we will now proceed with the business of the day. Honorable members, in accordance with Standing Order 84, I have been informed that notices and absence have been received from the Honorable Valerie Woods, Speaker of the House, Honorable Abelardo Mai, Member of Orange Walk South, Honorable Julius Espat, Member from Kaya South, Honorable Oscar Mira, Member from Belmapan, Honorable Osmond Martinez, Member for Toledo East, Honorable Miguel Guerra, Member for Cayo West. Honorable Member, it has also been represented to me that there is a vacancy in the membership of the Joint Public Accounts Committee. Pursuant to Standing Order 73, the Committee of Selections is charged with the task of recommending to the House the names of members to serve on each standing committee. Therefore, I propose, with the concurrence of the House, of course, that we suspend this sitting to enable the Committee of Selection to consider and report to the House of the appointment of a member to fill the vacancy in the Joint Public Account Committee. All those in favor, kindly say aye. Aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it.
Presentation of report from Committee of Selection.
I recognize the Honorable Chairperson of the Committee of Selection.
Morning, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to present and lay on the table sessional paper number HR 82A 114, report from the Committee of Selection on the appointment of a member to fill the vacancy in the Joint Public Accounts Committee.
Honorable members, that report is ordered to lie on the table.
Public business, government business motion.
I recognize the Honorable Member for Pickstock.
Mr. Speaker, I move, be it resolved that the report from the Committee of Selection on the appointment of a member to fill the vacancy in the Joint Public Accounts Committee be adopted.
Honorable members, the question is, be it resolved that the report for the selection from the Committee of Selections on the appointment of a member to fill the vacancy for the Joint Public Accounts Committee be adopted. All those in favor, kindly say aye. Aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it.
Bill brought from the Senate.
I recognize the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Education, Culture, Science and Technology.
This is the Judges' Salaries and Pensions Bill 2026. I rise to move that in accordance with Standing Order 60, the House do now consider the Senate amendments.
Honorable members, the question is that the House do now consider the Senate amendments. All those in favor, kindly say aye. Aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it.
The amendments agreed by the Senate on the Judges' Salaries and Pensions Bill 2025 on Wednesday, 3rd June 2026, long title, Class 2, Class 3, Class 4, Class 5, Class 6, Class 8, Class 9, Class 10, Class 12, renumbered Class 12, renumbered Class 13, renumbered Class 14, renumbered Class 16, and the schedule.
Honorable members, the question is that the amendments as proposed by the Senate to the Judges' Salaries and Pension Bill 2026 be accepted. All those in favor, kindly say aye. Aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it.
Papers.
I recognize the Honorable Prime Minister.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to our colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I rise to present and lay on the table sessional papers HR 83114, the 24th annual report of the Contractor General for the period April 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026. Number HR 83A114, report of the Auditor General for the year April 2017 to March 2018.
Honorable members, sessional paper number HR 83114 is ordered to lie on the table, and sessional paper number 83A114 is referred to the Joint Public Account Committee for examination, consideration, and report. I recognize the Honorable Minister of Public Service, Disaster Risk Management and Enterprise on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and New Growth Industries.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to present and lay on the table sessional papers number HR 84/1/14, Supplies Control Prices Amendment number 14, Regulations 2026, HR 85/1/14, Supplies Control Prices Amendment Number 15, Regulations 2026. HR 86/1/14, Supplies Control Prices Amendment Number 16, Regulations 2026. HR 87/1/14, Supplies Control Prices Amendment Number 17, Regulations 2026. HR 88/1/14, Supplies Control Prices Amendment Number 18, Regulations 2026. HR 89/1/14, Supplies Control Prices Amendment Number 19, Regulations 2026. HR 90/1/14, Supplies Control Prices Amendment Number 20, Regulations 2026. And HR 91/1/14, Supplies Control Prices Amendment Number 21, Regulations 2026.
Honorable members, those papers are ordered to lie on the table. I recognize the Honorable Minister of Constitution and Religious Affairs, Indigenous Affairs and Transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning to everyone. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to lay on the table sessional paper HR 91A/1/14, Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Limited and Exclusive Concessions Regulations 2026. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, if I could just give a very, very short overview of these recommended regulations. The draft regulations prescribe under Section 112(1)(09) of the Parent Act. It will be clarifying the procedure for granting concessions to operate motor omnibuses, the conditions applicable to such concessions, and the relationship between concessions granted under Section 115 of the Act and the existing road service permit regime established under the Act and regulations. It clarifies and harmonizes the roles of the Department of Transport and the Transport Board in the granting of such concessions. Section 115 of the Act empowers the Department of Transport with the consent of the National Assembly to grant concessions for the operation of motor omnibuses on specified routes and areas. The section provides as follows, quote, "The Department may, with the consent of the National Assembly, signified by resolution to that effect, grant to any person or two or more persons jointly a limited concession or an exclusive concession to operate motor omnibuses in any area or any road or route, or for any journey upon such conditions as shall be specified in the grant and subject to this Act and the regulations." However, the Act does not prescribe detailed procedures or criteria for applications for concessions, evaluation and approval, scope, duration, and limitations of concessions, revocation and enforcement mechanisms, or preservation of parliamentary oversight. And therefore, we are bringing these regulations so that we are able to flesh that out properly and be able to follow our procedures as we continue to work on the modernization of our transport sector, primarily in this instance, our intercity bus system. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, that paper is ordered to lie on the table.
Presentation of reports from select committees.
I recognize the Honorable Chairperson of the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Mr. Speaker, good morning. Mr. Speaker, I rise to present and lay sessional papers number HR 92/1/14, report from the Finance and Economic Development Committee on the Development Finance Corporation Amendment Bill 2026, number HR 93/1/14, report from the Finance and Economic Development Committee on the Belize International Financial Services Association Amendment Bill 2026, number HR 94/1/14, report from the Finance and Economic Development Committee on the Belize Electricity Investments Bill 2026, number HR 95/1/14, report from the Finance and Economic Development Committee on the International Development Association Belize Early Childhood Development and Female Empowerment Project, US $23.5 million loan motion 2026, HR 96/1/14, report from the Finance and Economic Development Committee on the Inter-American Development Bank Contingent Loan for Natural Disaster and Public Health Emergencies, US $25 million loan motion 2026, number HR 97/1/14, report from the Finance and Economic Development Committee on the CARICOM Development Fund, School Development Fund for Corozal and Cayo, US $3 million loan motion 2026. Thank you.
Honorable members, those reports are ordered to lie on the table. I recognize the Honorable Chairperson of the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to present and lay on the table sessional papers number HR 98/1/14, report from the Constitution and the Foreign Affairs Committee on the Criminal Code Amendment Bill 2026, number HR 99/1/14, report from the Constitution and the Foreign Affairs Committee on the Alternative Sentencing Amendment Bill 2026, HR 100/1/14, report from the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee on the Geographical Indications Bill 2026.
Honorable members, those reports are ordered to lie on the table. I recognize the Honorable Senior Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister.
Good morning to all. Mr. Speaker, I rise to present and lay on the table sessional paper number HR 101/1/14, the second report from the Women's Parliamentary Caucus Standing Committee for the period January 2026 to June 2026.
Honorable members, that report is ordered to lie on the table.
Adoption of bills.
I recognize the Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is the Millennium Challenge Account Belize Authority Amendment Bill 2026. I rise to introduce a bill for an act to amend the Millennium Challenge Account Belize Authority Act number 16 of 2024 to ratify the Millennium Challenge Compact and the Program Implementation Agreement entered into by and between the Government of America, the United States of America, and Belize, and to provide for matters connected herewith or incidental to. Mr. Speaker, this bill has the recommendation of the Cabinet. But again, just for a brief explanation, this is just continuing the work in trying to be ready. This is just a natural progression of what we've been doing. As you know, I think it was in December 2021, Belize was selected as as a recipient for the MCC because of the work that we've been doing, our government has been doing when it comes to democracy, human rights, and also the working with the private sector and the economy. And so we've been working all these years, and we quickly decided that we wanted to focus in education and energy. Now, this bill, Mr. Speaker, what we're doing now is to amend the Millennium Challenge Accountability Authority Act of 2024 by inserting after Section 50 of the Principal Act a new Section 50A, which specifically ratifies the MCC Compact and the related program implementation agreement and declares them to be validly entered into by the government of Belize. Mr. Speaker, prior to the launch of the MCC Compact, which is slated for the 18th of September of 2026, the state of Belize needs to officially ratify the MCC Compact and its ancillary program implementation agreement, both of which are duly signed by the government of Belize. Members may recall that Belize was selected, as I said, in December of 2021, and we have agreed, both MCC and the government of Belize, we agreed then to focus on two binding constraints of economic growth in Belize. One is the low quality of education that leads to a shortage of trained professionals in all industries, and B, high cost of electricity that drives up input costs for all industries. So in December of 2024, Cabinet approved the joint designed document, which formed the basis for negotiations with MCC. Subsequently, the National Assembly passed the Millennium Challenge Accountability Authority Act of 2024, being Act number 16 of 2024. On 13th of August of 2024, we established the Millennium Challenge Accountability as the accountable entity responsible for implementing the MCC Compact. Following the conclusions of the negotiations, the compact between the government of Belize and MCC was signed on the 4th of September of 2024. At this point, and prior to the official launch of the MCC Compact, Belize needs to officially ratify the MCC Compact and its ancillary program implementation agreement, both of which were duly signed by the government of Belize. Later on, the Minister of Education are going to be introducing two very important pieces of legislation that has to do with this. One is a new bill for education, and one for the TVET. And these go hand in hand with this, so it's important for us to be able to wrap all of this before the 18th of September. So it will be introduced, so it could go to House Committee for review, and we hope that by the end of next month, we can ratify it here in Parliament. We could pass this into ANAC, and then after that it goes to the Senate, and once that is done on the 18th of September, in my meeting with Deputy Secretary Landau, who directly supervised the MCC, at our last meeting was saying, well, why it is critical that we have this ready by the 18th of September. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to take the opportunity to reiterate my government's support for this program and restate our commitment to see the program through a successful conclusion. And I take the opportunity to publicly ask the leader of the opposition and her members also to support what we're doing. This is something good. It's $125 million that the U.S. government is giving Belize to be able to modernize education, to realign education with the economy, and at the same time looking at modernizing the legislation for energy, but also working in its infrastructure, which is, in particular, what we want to do with the monies from that is going to be set aside for energy, is to be able to replace the submarine cable from mainland Belize onto to the island of Borguski to San Pedro. That cable line has outlived its life. It should have been replaced before 2019. And so we are taking the opportunity to be able to help fund that with the use by using this money. That will not be enough. The government will still have to put in a substantial amount of monies to be able to finish that project. So I really believe this is a non-partisan issue. And I believe that, and I hope that then that the opposition would be able to join us with this, to support us with this, and for us to be able to see it right through. And at the same time, I'm publicly be asking the opposition also to ask their senators to be able to support this bill, because it is of paramount importance for us to sign this by the 18th of September. And later on, if the opposition, if the leader wishes, I could speak to her privately why it is so important for us to be able to finish it up by then. So I want to thank the government and people of the United States of America for their generous support and assistance with the development of Belize. And Mr. Speaker, I commend this bill to this Honorable House, and I urge all members to support it through all its stages. Thank you.
Honorable members, that bill is referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee for examination, consideration, and report.
Bill for an act to amend the Millennium Challenge Account Belize Authority Act, Act number 16 of 2024.
I recognize the Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is the Revenue Authority Bill 2026. I rise to introduce a bill for an act to establish a revenue authority to facilitate the official and effective administration and collection of domestic revenue and other public monies, and to provide for matters connected herewith or incidental thereto. Mr. Speaker, this bill has the recommendation of the Cabinet. Now, as way of explanation, Mr. Speaker, the Cabinet has been discussing this paper for some time, and we have approved a Cabinet paper a few years ago, but for us it was important that we have proper and full consultations with everyone, in particularly with the private sector through the Business Bureau and the Belize Chamber of Commerce, and the unions through the Public Service Union. So, by way of introduction, Mr. Speaker, let me start by saying that the Belize Revenue Authority Bill for 2026 is just another step of the modernization of the tax administration in Belize. What we're doing here, that under the Belize Revenue Authority Bill, or the BRA, it will establish a semi-autonomous revenue authority to improve administration, strengthen the management of our revenue workforce, and deliver better taxpayer service with clearer accountability. This bill introduces the kind of reforms that build upon the work that started in 2019. And I must give credit to the previous government then. This is a continuation of what was started back then in 2019, when they amalgamated the income tax and the General Sales Tax Department into the Belize Tax Services Department, or BTS. Now, our government carried that work forward. We did not stop it. We looked at it and said something good, and it has been working fairly well. And so, we work forward through an ongoing process of technical modernization, including a new revenue management system and the successful launch and operations of IRIS, which is the Belize portal, which enables secure online fine filing, payments, and compliance tracking. These investments have improved taxpayer services, strengthened voluntary compliance, and enhanced revenue performance without any tax increases. Now, of course, Mr. Speaker, modern systems alone cannot deliver the results. They must be supported by skilled people operating within a human resource framework for the specialized work of the Revenue Administration. At present, the Belize Tax Services Department faces recruitment delays, limited flexibility to deploy specialized skills, difficulty in retaining tax and IT professionals, and an appraisal system that is not tailored to specialized, result-driven work. A central purpose of this bill, therefore, is to create a human resources framework built on clear qualifications, merit-based recruitment, staff development, fair performance standards, and accountability. Now, let me be clear. This is in no way a criticism of our public service institutions or our public officers. Rather, it recognizes that revenue administration has particular skills that they need, as do other specialized public bodies such as Central Bank of Belize or the judiciary, each of which have their own specialized human resources regimes. The authority will be led by a qualified chief executive officer, advised by a 7-member advisory board with staffing appointments overseen by the board and its Human Resources Committee. We recognize that changing established public service arrangements create legitimate concerns for officers and their representatives. These concerns must be given due attention and treated seriously. The transition must be approached with respect, transparency, and consultation. With this in mind, this bill gives public officers clear options. They could retire, they could apply to join the authority, or continued placement in the public service. So they have 3 options. It also preserves accrued pension and retirement benefits. The purpose is not to diminish earned rights, but to build and retain the specialized capacity Belize needs while treating every officer fairly. And Mr. Speaker, before anyone tries to be reckless, let me state that this bill does not increase taxes. It will not place a heavier burden on citizens and businesses already meeting their obligations. This bill seeks to make administration fairer, faster, more consistent, more effective, and more efficient. It provides better service for compliant taxpayers, stronger action against deliberate non-compliance, and less revenue leakage. A modern revenue administration must be firm with deliberate evasion, fair with every taxpayer, and helpful to those who want to comply. This tax administration is not simply about collecting revenue, it is about ensuring the government's ability to deliver essential public services. The revenues collected by the authority will continue to finance the recurrent expenditure that keeps our country functioning every day, paying our teachers or nurses or police officers and public servants, supporting our hospitals and schools, maintaining public infrastructure, and funding the social programs upon which many Belizean families depend. Every dollar lost through leakage is a dollar unavailable for education, healthcare, infrastructure, public safety, and national development. And yes, there will be oversight. Plans will be presented to the National Assembly The CEO must report revenue monthly, the Auditor General will audit annually, and all collections will be paid into the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Mr. Speaker, Belizeans should not have to choose between efficient government and fair treatment of workers. We can and we must deliver both. This bill protects the investment already made, respects the rights and contributions of our workers, and strengthens the institution entrusted with safeguarding the revenues that fund our public services. In so doing, it builds a fairer, more reliable and modern revenue administration without increasing tax rates, and ensures that Belize is well positioned to meet the opportunities and challenges of the future. Just to quickly add, Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we did is that we asked that a committee be formed that included the Public Service Union and the NTUCB. And they had meetings earlier this year, I think it was in May of this year, and asking them to review. We gave them the bill, and they had a chance to review the bill and also to make recommendations to the Ministry of Finance. In that one, the Chamber of Commerce made 2 recommendations, which we already had in mind that we wanted to do, but they wanted to see it be put into the actual bill. That is about how we're going to be treating the employees that are presently at BTS. So we'll be making 2 amendments, and when we go to second reading, and then on the third reading, when we meeting of the whole, we're going to be making those recommendations. But I could quickly inform you, Mr. Speaker, and to our colleagues, the areas that we're going to be amending is Section 16, which deals with transition of staff. It's Section 16.3. A person who elects under subsection 2A to voluntarily retire from the public service, or who is appointed to the authority under subsection 2B, shall, upon ceasing to be employed by the public service, be entitled to any pension, gratuity, or other retirement benefits to which that person is entitled under the Pension Act. But we wanted to go one step further, and the recommendation from the Chamber is, okay, let's put it in the Act. We are amending on Section 34, Employee Benefit Schemes. 1, the authority may, with the approval of the Minister, A, enter into arrangements respecting schemes, whether by way of insurance policies or otherwise, and B, make regulations for the provision of medical benefits, pensions, gratuities, and other retirement, disability or death benefits for employees or the authority. And 2, an arrangement, scheme, or regulations under subsection 1 may include provisions for the payment of benefits to the dependents or legal personal representatives of an employee of the authority. So I'm just reading this out, Mr. Speaker, to point out that the Chamber did make some recommendations, and we have putting the wording, so we're going to be amending it when we go into the committee of the whole to include it, to ensure and to give comfort to all of these employees that they will be protected every step of the way. But of course, they still have other organizations, including the Public Service Union, that when these go to House Committee, they're still welcome to come in and to present whatever other concerns that may have. But it's important for us, Mr. Speaker, to make it abundantly clear that we are protecting the interests of all the employees that are presently employed at the Belize Tax Revenue Services, or at BTS. So with that said, Mr. Speaker, this is the first reading, so it will go to the House Committee, and I'm hoping that towards the end of, at the next House meeting, if there's enough consultations, we want them to bring it for second reading and on. So I will be urging everyone, all members of this House, from both sides of the aisles, for them to be able to get the facts properly and then to support this bill. It is something that is good for Belize. I thank you.
Honorable members, that bill is referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee for examination, consideration, and report.
Bill for an act to establish the Revenue Authority to facilitate the official and effective administration and collection of domestic revenue and other public monies, and to provide for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto.
I recognize the Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is the National Honors and Awards Amendment Bill 2026. I rise to introduce a bill for an act to amend the National Honors and Awards Act, Chapter 162 of the Substantive Laws of Belize, Revised Edition 2020, to provide for new national honors and awards to recognize Belizeans for bravery, courage, and patriotism, and to provide for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. And Mr. Speaker, this bill has the recommendation of the Cabinet. Just again, a brief explanation. As we all know, I think was it the last year, April, when we had a person who had serious mental problems attempted to hijack one of our planes, a local flight. And we believe back then that Mr. Hall Grange acted with incredible bravery. He remained calm at all times and even, played out with this person, letting him believe that, the plane is going to the United States, talking in Spanish for him to believe that they were in Mexican airspace. And it required incredible bravery, incredible calm, and to be cool during that time, and even at the risk of his own life. And I know he was I think he was stabbed a few times. But because of his act of bravery, we managed to save pretty much all of the lives of the people in that plane. And so when we wanted to give him a special award to recognize his bravery, it then came to attention that that there is nothing with the different medals that we have where we could fit him in to properly recognize what he has done. So what we are doing, Mr. Speaker, is with this Honors and Awards Act, it is establishing a mechanism to be able to recognize people who have rendered outstanding and meritorious service to our nation. At present, the Act provides for the award called the Order of the National Hero, which we only have two of them at this moment, the Order of Belize, the Order of Distinction, the Meritorious Service Award, the Services Medal of Honor, and the Long Service Medal. Although the Act provides for the conferment of the Order of Belize, in practice, we have tried to give this award primarily to foreign heads of states, heads of government, and other distinguished non-Belizeans in recognition of their service to or friendship with Belize. Yes, few Belizeans have been given this award. Still, the existing honors framework does not include a distinct national order intended to recognize Belizean citizens with exceptional patriotism, loyalty, and distinguished service merit recognition at the highest level, while preserving the unique status of the national hero designation. We want to fix this. So we are proposing that we have a new national order to be known as the Order of National Pride and Patriotism Excellence, to be established to recognize such outstanding Belizeans. And also, Mr. Speaker, this act provides for the recognition of distinguished service and national achievement. It does not establish a specific national decoration or recognition for acts of bravery, courage, and self-sacrifice in dangerous situations. So today what we're doing is to establish an award of valor, which we believe would address this gap. We believe, Mr. Speaker, that these new awards, which we put in the form of amendments to the National Heroes, the National Honors and Awards Act, will modernize and strengthen the awards we hand out when we honor those who perform outstanding service to our nation.
Honorable members, that bill is referred to the Public Service, Labor, Industry and Trade Committee for examination, consideration and report.
Bill for an act to amend the National Honors and Awards Act, Chapter 162 of the Substantive Laws of Belize.
I recognize the Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for the indulgence of this House. This is time sensitive. September is upon us. So I'm asking for that in accordance with Standing Order 49-1, I move that the bill be taken through all its stages forthwith.
Honorable members, the question is that the bill be taken through all its stages forthwith. All those in favor, kindly say aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order 12A8, I move that the proceedings on the order paper may be entered upon and proceeded with at this day's sitting at any hour due opposed.
Honorable members, the question is that the proceeding of the order paper may be entered upon and proceeded with all this day's sitting at any hour though proposed. All those in favor, kindly say aye. Aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it. I recognize the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Education, Culture, Science and Technology.
Mr. Speaker, this is the Technical and Vocational Education Training Bill 2026. I rise to introduce a bill for an act to make new and improved provision for developing and regulating the TVET sector in Belize, to promote a national TVET system in keeping with local, regional, and global needs and priorities, to provide for the institutional framework for the Autonomous National Training Authority, responsible for planning, directing, regulating, standards, and oversight of the TVET system, to promote a competitive workforce, to provide for registration and accreditation of TVET providers, assessment centers, and accreditation of and certification of TVET trainers, assessors, and verifiers, to provide for development of qualifications of a qualifications framework and curricula, to provide for sector skills council aimed at equitable access to quality and demand-driven TVET programs, to establish a fund for the sustainable financing of TVET programs, and to provide for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. Mr. Speaker, this bill has the recommendation of the Cabinet. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'll just say a few words on the introduction of the bill. The ministry has prepared a comprehensive white paper to go along with the bill, which will be shared with all members of the House, all members of the Senate. So that, I think, will be very helpful, very useful to members. But I would like to make a few points as I introduce this bill. First is that the bill, this is really the first dedicated TVET law that we have had. And so the bill creates a standalone modern framework for technical and vocational education and training. And it is companion legislation to the next bill that I will be introducing, which is the Education Bill 2026. The bill sets up, the TVET bill sets up an autonomous industry-led national training authority. So it will set up a 13-member board which brings together government, private sector, public and private providers, the National Accreditation Council, the National Trade Union Congress of Belize, organized labor, and of course the Ministry of Education. So industry, very critical point, that industry will steer and help steer the system that trains its workforce. We will also ensure under the bill that the training follows demand, right? Not supply. Training follows demand. So we've set up a sector skills council for the main economic sectors so that we can identify the skills needed and develop industry-agreed occupational standards which will be reviewed every 5 years. The bill also provides for qualifications that will travel. So the National Vocational Qualification Framework, the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, provide Belizean workers with portable, regionally recognized certification under the CARICOM single market and economy. And the reality is, Mr. Speaker, that the economy is demanding this TVET bill. You know, workers with only primary education fell from some 83,000 in 2019 to 56,000 in 2024, while tertiary educated workers are on the rise, which is a good thing. We should celebrate that. But the labor market is then affected by that shift. And so we note that the labor market itself is shifting towards certified skills. So employers, if you talk to employers across tourism, across agriculture, construction, energy, even